This video will be controversial. It will upset a lot of people. However, the truth is the truth, and facts are facts, and facts don't care about your feelings. Much is said about the origin of Jewish people, the race of Jews, and if modern-day Jews are indeed the same Jews as the Judeans from 2,000 years ago. Reality is much more interesting than fiction or speculation. According to genetic studies such as Behar et al., published in 2010, Feldman et al., published in 2017, and Rauch et al., published in 2019, modern-day Jews are a diverse ethno-religious group whose population comprises between 30% to 80% ancient Levantine DNA, with 90% of Jews having genetic ancestry from the Levant. The remaining 10% is made of converts, such as from India and Ethiopia, who do not share ancient Levantine DNA. The highest percentage of ancient Levantine DNA is found among Iranian Jews, with as much as 80% of their DNA being ancient Levantine. In contrast, modern-day Arab Muslims occupying the territories of Judea and Samaria, calling them Gaza and the West Bank, have between 30 to 60% ancient Levantine DNA, most likely coming from ancient Judeans who were forced to convert to Islam under threat of death. The rest of their DNA, 30 to 60%, is Arab and not indigenous to the Levant, with between 1 to 5% of their DNA being sub-Saharan Black African, not indigenous to the Levant. The most common haplogroups among Jews are haplogroups J1, J2, and E1b1b. The J haplogroup is thought to have originated 45,000 years ago in the Near East, with J1 and J2 splitting approximately 30,000 to 35,000 years ago. Haplogroup J1 is more common among Kohanim, the royal priestly caste of the ancient Jews, particularly the J1c3, p58 subclade, often referred to as the Cohen modal haplotype, CMH. About 45 to 50% of Kohanim belong to haplogroup J1, with a significant portion carrying the CMH. Studies have found that approximately 20% of Kohanim carry haplogroup J2. This notable proportion reflects the genetic diversity within the Kohanim lineage. Haplogroup J is believed to have originated in the region encompassing the Caucasus, northern Mesopotamia, and the Levant around 45,000 years ago. The descendants of haplogroup J spread out from this region into the broader Middle East, Mediterranean, and beyond. According to the Bible, Noah's Ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, traditionally associated with the region near the modern-day borders of Turkey, Armenia, and Iran, not far from the Caucasus. Thus, ancient Jews belonging to these haplogroups can safely be called Caucasian. The Bible describes Abraham as originally being from Ur, an ancient city in Mesopotamia, modern-day southern Iraq, and later migrating to the Levant, modern-day Israel, Judea, and Samaria area in response to God's call. The movement of haplogroup J populations from northern Mesopotamia and the broader region aligns well with the story of Abraham migrating from Ur to the Levant. This migration mirrors the genetic spread and historical movement patterns of ancient populations carrying haplogroup J. J1 is found among 20% of Jews. J2 is found among 30% of Jews. The other major haplogroup found among Jews is haplogroup E1b1b, associated with the ancient Levantine population known as Natufians, who lived in the Levant 15,000 years ago. Some anthropologists have speculated that the Natufians were sub-Saharan Africans due to the presence of the E11b haplogroup in East Africa. However, in modern North African populations, the E1b1b haplogroup is highest among the Amazigh Berbers, a white indigenous population to North Africa, with 80% of them belonging to this haplogroup. The ancient Natufians were said to have been basal Eurasian, fully anatomically modern humans, genetically similar to the European Cro-Magnon, without the Neanderthal component in their DNA, which characterizes modern-day Europeans who carry up to 2% Neanderthal DNA. They also did not have the super-archaic hominid DNA component that sub-Saharan Africans carry, who have up to 90% super-archaic early hominid DNA, between 1 to 2 million years removed from modern-day humans. Subsequently, the fourth and fifth most common haplogroups among Jews are haplogroups R1a, found among 15% of Jews, and haplogroup R1b, found among 10% of Jews. Haplogroup R1a originated in Central Asia, and it is most common among modern-day Eastern Europeans, while haplogroup R1b also originated in Central Asia, and is the most common haplogroup among modern-day Western Europeans. These haplogroups, J1, J2, E1b1b, R1a, and R1b, are phenotypically Caucasoid, Caucasian, or in simple terms, racially white. It's also interesting to note that if one were to claim the most strict definition of racially white as being Nordic European, the most common haplogroups in Northern Europe are I1 and I2, with haplogroup I being a cousin to haplogroup J, originating in the area around the Caucasus and splitting from each other approximately 43,000 years ago. The fact is that ancient Judeans were as white as Swedes, and they only became darker during the diaspora and the exile after the destruction of the Second Temple. And also when mixing with earlier European non-Proto-Indo-European populations living in southern Europe within the Roman Empire starting at 200 BCE. After the end of the Babylonian exile, the growth from about 250,000 Jews in 538 BC to possibly 7 million by the 1st century CE represents a 2,700% increase. The average annual growth rate over this period was approximately 0.523%. The average annual increase in the Jewish population from 538 BCE to the 1st century CE was approximately 10,580 people per year. This is unheard of, and considering in ancient times infant mortality rates were so high, this growth in population can only be accounted for by miracle or mass conversion. Furthermore, in the Hebrew Bible, certain ancient Judeans were described in this manner. King David, described as having a ruddy complexion, beautiful eyes, and being handsome. 1 Samuel 16:12, so he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, with beautiful eyes and a handsome appearance. 1 Samuel 17:2, when the Philistine looked and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy with a handsome appearance. In this context, the word ruddy in the original Hebrew is the word amoni, meaning red or red-haired, the same word used in Genesis 25:25 to describe Esau, the fraternal twin of Jacob, one of the patriarchs of the Jewish people. King Solomon, the son of King David, is described in the following manner. Song of Songs 5:10-16. My beloved is radiant and ruddy, outstanding among 10,000. His head is purest gold, his hair is wavy and black as a raven. His eyes are like doves by the water streams, washed in milk, mounted like jewels. His cheeks are like beds of spice, yielding perfume. His lips are like lilies dripping with myrrh. His arms are rods of gold set with topaz. His body is like polished ivory decorated with lapis lazuli. His legs are pillars of marble set on bases of pure gold. His appearance is like Lebanon, choice as its cedars. His mouth is sweetness itself. He is altogether lovely. This is my beloved. This is my friend, daughters of Jerusalem. In this poetic language, the fact his body is described as polished ivory, his limbs like marble, suggests fair skin, while mention of his eyes being like water, streams surrounded by milk, suggests bright blue eyes. After the exile and the subsequent diaspora, the Jewish people have become a diverse group, even diverse in thought. While some still remain faithful to the God of the Bible and his Torah, others have turned to leftist, Marxist doctrine and have made secularism their religion, going so far as fighting against Jews who support Israel, Torah, and the promises of God for the children of Israel. The Bible tells us that the children of Israel are chosen to be a priestly caste, called to be a light unto the nations. It is implied that when Jews are not fulfilling that mission, they become a darkness unto the world, as seen in people such as George Soros and the Rothschild family. Still, God is God and can use Satan himself to fulfill his will, as the Rothschilds helped secure treaties that led to the re-establishment of the modern state of Israel in the same ancestral land that belonged to the Jewish people 3,500 years ago, with genetic ties going back 7,000 years. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the origins of the Jewish people. We've explored the fascinating genetic history, biblical narratives, and cultural transformations that have shaped the Jewish identity over millennia. Remember, history is complex and often controversial, but understanding it helps us appreciate the rich tapestry of human heritage. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that challenges perspectives and sparks curiosity. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.